If you're over 70, you've lived long enough to understand something many younger people still haven't learned. Clutter is never just about objects. It's never just about what sits on tables or hides behind closed doors. It's not simply the pile of mail on the counter, the stack of magazines in the corner, or the drawer filled with things you forgot you owned. Clutter can be physical, yes, but the deeper clutter, the one that truly affects your life at this stage, is emotional, because you can step into a room where everything looks in place. Floors swept, cushions fluffed, shelves neatly arranged, and still feel something isn't right. You still feel that subtle heaviness in your chest, that tiny knot in your stomach, that quiet tension that seems to hang in the air even when nothing looks messy. It's a strange feeling, isn't it? A feeling that doesn't come from what your eyes see, but from what your heart senses. This is the kind of clutter almost no one talks about. The kind that doesn't make noise, but creates unease. The kind that doesn't appear chaotic, but drains your energy. The kind that doesn't pile up on your floors, but builds up silently inside your spirit. Because clutter after 70 is different. It doesn't scream the way it did when you were younger. It doesn't look like toys on the floor, laundry baskets overflowing, or desks buried under paperwork. Instead, it whispers. It whispers from the back of a closet, where clothes you haven't worn in a decade still hang. It whispers from the kitchen cabinet full of cups and dishes you keep just in case, even though you reach for the same two items every day. It whispers from old photographs, forgotten gifts, expired bottles, and used furniture, abandoned hobbies, and objects that once mattered greatly but no longer serve any purpose in your life. It hides in places you rarely check. Drawers filled with memories, corners filled with sentiment, shelves filled with the past. It hides in the belongings that once helped you through important chapters, but now quietly weigh you down. And the truth is, at this stage of life, clutter isn't really about having too much. Most seniors don't have overflowing houses. In fact, some have fewer items than ever before. But the few things that remain, they carry weight. They hold emotional ties. They represent identities you've already outgrown. They echo years you've already lived. Clutter after 70 is not about quantity. It's about emotional imprint. It's about the wrong things staying in your home for too long. Long after they've stopped serving you. Long after they've stopped bringing comfort. Long after they've quietly started draining your peace. And here is something so many people never realize. When you clear your home at this stage of life, you aren't just tidying. You aren't spring cleaning. You aren't simply making space on a shelf. You are reclaiming something far more precious. Your energy. You are renewing the emotional atmosphere of your home. You are creating an environment that supports your body, your safety, your routines, and your spirit. You are making room for the life you are actually living today. Not the life you lived 20 or 30 years ago. Not the life built around raising children, hosting guests, or keeping objects for a future that no longer applies. This is your present chapter. A chapter that deserves clarity, ease, lightness, and calm. And that's why today, we're going to talk about 8 things every senior should remove from their home if they want to experience greater peace, a clearer mind, a safer living environment, and a deeper sense of emotional freedom. Because once these items are gone, you will feel the difference, not just in your home, but in your heart. Let's begin. Old medications are one of the most overlooked and underestimated stressors in senior homes. Yet they carry an emotional and psychological weight far heavier than their tiny bottles suggest. Most people think medication clutter is harmless. A few pill bottles here, a few supplements there. What's the big deal? But the truth is, these bottles accumulate quietly over the years. They hide in bathroom cabinets, kitchen drawers, bedside tables, and pill organizers that were once part of a strict routine. And while they seem small, they hold a powerful emotional charge. Because every time you open that drawer, every time you see those bottles, every time your eyes skim over labels you no longer remember or medications you no longer need, they deliver a message you may not consciously hear, but your heart hears it every time. You were sick once. You might be sick again. Stay prepared. Stay worried. Stay on alert. It's a subtle reminder of vulnerability, a quiet echo of fear, pain, or uncertainty you experienced in the past. And without realizing it, those reminders affect your state of mind. They increase internal tension. They raise stress levels. They create a sense of ongoing risk, even when you are healthy. And, slowly, they chip away at your confidence. Because medication clutter isn't just physical clutter. It's emotional clutter tied to some of the most difficult moments of your life. And the science supports this. Health experts warn that expired medications lose potency, become ineffective, and in some cases can even turn harmful. But the deeper issue is not just medical. It's symbolic. Every old pill bottle represents something from the past. A diagnosis that shook you. A treatment that drained you. A fear you carried. A night you couldn't sleep. A hospital visit you'd rather forget. You may not think about these memories consciously, but your environment remembers for you. When you keep expired medications, you unknowingly keep a connection to illness, vulnerability, anxiety, old wounds, and you allow these emotions to linger in your space even when you've already healed. Your home should be a reflection of wellness, calm, and strength, not a silent archive of everything you've survived. So here is a gentle, powerful exercise. Choose one quiet afternoon. Sit somewhere comfortable. Open your medicine drawer, cabinet, or shelf. Pick up each bottle slowly. Feel its weight in your hand. Look at it with full awareness. And ask yourself a simple but life-changing question. Does this serve me today? Not who I was, not what I feared, but who I am right now. If it doesn't, if it's expired, unused, unnecessary, or outdated, release it. Dispose of it safely at a pharmacy or community drop-off center. This step matters because it turns the act of decluttering into an act of self-respect. And when you finally clear that shelf, when the bottles are gone and the space is open, you will feel something immediate and undeniable. A lightness, a quietness, a sense of order and calm returning to your home. A feeling that you have closed a chapter and made room for health, clarity, and peace. Because letting go of old medications is not just decluttering. It's declaring to yourself, I am living in the present. I choose healing. I choose peace. I choose a home that supports who I am today. And that shift, subtle but profound, can change the way you feel in your home every single day. Clothing is emotional. More emotional than most people realize. A closet is never just a collection of shirts, jackets, pants, and scarves. It is a timeline, a museum of past identities, a quiet archive of every chapter you've lived through. Your work years, your parenting years, your social years, your celebrations, your losses, your transitions. And when you open your closet at age 70, 75, 80, or beyond, you are not just looking at fabric. You are looking at versions of yourself that no longer exist. Your closet might contain outfits from your working years, clothes you once wore with pride, powerful suits, professional dresses, office shoes. They carried you through long days, important meetings, early mornings, and demanding responsibilities. But those days are behind you. Keeping those clothes can keep you mentally tied to roles you no longer need to carry. Clothes that don't fit anymore. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because bodies evolve. Weight shifts. Mobility changes. Comfort becomes more important than trends. Yet many seniors keep ill-fitting clothes as silent reminders of who they were instead of who they are now. Someday clothes. The maybe one day I'll wear this again dress. The if I lose a few pounds pants. The for a special occasion blouse. These items rarely get worn. Instead, they sit there, quietly creating pressure, expectation, and guilt. Gifts you never wore. Items chosen by someone else's taste, someone else's vision, or someone else's expectations. Gifts that don't match your reality or your personality now. But you keep them, not because you love them, but because you feel obligated. Clothes tied to memories, good or bad. Clothes from a time when your life looked different. Clothes from people you miss, places you've outgrown, or routines long gone. Clothing holds emotional residue. You may not feel it consciously, but every time you see that dress, that jacket, that old coat, it stirs something inside you. Sometimes nostalgia, sometimes sadness, sometimes a longing for a version of life that has already passed. But after 70, clothing is not just fabric. It's identity. And when your closet is filled with clothes that no longer align with the life you're living today, clothes that don't fit, don't feel comfortable, or don't make sense anymore, it sends a quiet, constant message. You're supposed to be someone you're not anymore. It keeps you emotionally stuck in a past version of yourself. It creates a subtle feeling of inadequacy, as if you're failing to match who you once were. You deserve a closet that reflects who you are now, how your body feels now, how your days flow now, and what brings you comfort, confidence, and ease. You deserve clothes that feel soft on your skin, fit your current shape without pressure or judgment, support your mobility, comfort, and warmth. Match the routines you actually live, your walks, your rest time, your family visits, your hobbies, your comfort moments. Letting go isn't losing. Letting go doesn't mean your past didn't matter. And it doesn't mean you're giving something up. Letting go means aligning, bringing your home, your environment, and your wardrobe into harmony with the life you're living today. Because when your closet only holds what serves you now, something powerful happens. The clutter in your mind quiets. The emotional pressure eases. The comparison to your younger self disappears. The guilt of "I should wear this" fades. The calm of "this is enough" grows. And the physical act of dressing becomes joyful again, not stressful. So try this small but transformative step. Choose one afternoon. Stand in front of your closet. Pick any 5 items you haven't worn in the last 2 years. Not 1, not 2, 5. Donate them. Release them. Let them serve someone else. When those pieces leave your home, you will feel it immediately. A shift, a lightness, a deep breath you didn't know you were holding. Because a peaceful home truly begins with a peaceful closet. And a peaceful closet begins with clothes that reflect the person you are today, not the person you used to be. This is one of the biggest hidden clutter traps for seniors, and it often goes unnoticed because the kitchen has always been the heart of the home. But over the years, the heart can become crowded with things that no longer serve you. Walk into most kitchens today, and you'll find the same patterns. Too many plates stacked high in cabinets. Too many mugs collected over the years. Duplicate utensils from old sets. Large pots that once cooked for a full house, but haven't been touched in a decade. Bowls, trays, serving dishes, bakeware. Things we keep because they remind us of who we were, not who we are now. Many seniors keep kitchen items from a different chapter of life. Family dinners every weekend. Kids running around. Friends dropping by. Holiday gatherings where every dish was used and every seat was filled. But those days have changed. Beautiful memories, yes, but no longer your current reality. And here's the truth. Your kitchen should reflect the life you're living today, not the life you lived 20 or 30 years ago. Experts in aging and home organization say that visual clutter in the kitchen dramatically increases decision fatigue. That means every time you open a cabinet or drawer filled with mismatched, unused, or forgotten items, your brain has to work harder than it should. Decision fatigue leads to avoiding cooking altogether, feeling overwhelmed every time you enter the kitchen, eating less healthy meals because preparing food feels like too much effort, losing energy and motivation, higher frustration in daily routines. And here's something many people don't realize. A cluttered kitchen often becomes a cluttered diet. When your kitchen feels chaotic, your eating habits follow. So what's the solution? It's simple, and it's surprisingly freeing. Choose 2 to 4 plates, 2 to 4 glasses, the pans you use weekly, 1 reliable set of utensils, a few storage containers, 1 or 2 pots you actually cook with, and clear the rest. Donate it. Give it to someone who needs it. Or, if it's too worn, let it go without guilt. This isn't about throwing away the past. It's about honoring the life you live today. When you open your cabinets and see only what you need, your kitchen will feel open again, lighter, calmer, quieter, more peaceful. You'll cook more, you'll eat better, and you'll enjoy being in your space instead of avoiding it. Sometimes the biggest transformation in your daily life starts with something as simple as your dishes. Stacks of paper may seem harmless, but the truth is they are one of the strongest hidden sources of mental clutter in any senior home. Most of us grew up believing we should keep everything just in case. Bills, receipts, insurance documents, bank statements. Every scrap of paper seemed like a safety net. And over decades, these small pieces of paper quietly accumulate, transforming into piles that weigh not just on your surfaces, but on your mind. Take a look around. Most seniors keep old bills from years you can barely remember, expired warranties for appliances long gone, insurance papers that are no longer active, receipts from purchases made decades ago, notes and letters that tug at memory but no longer serve, bank statements from 20 years ago, or canceled checks. Individually, each piece of paper might seem harmless. Together, they are a silent psychological burden. Why? Because these piles of paper do two profound things. They make your home feel heavier. Even if it doesn't look messy, those stacks silently scream unfinished business, past obligations, and what if something goes wrong? Each time you see them, your brain registers a subtle stress response. Even if you're not consciously aware of it, they make your mind feel unsettled. They are visual reminders of decisions made long ago, mistakes, forgotten debts, obligations, and responsibilities that no longer matter. They anchor your attention to the past instead of allowing your mind to rest in the present. And here's the most important realization. You don't need every record from the past. You don't need to hold on to what no longer serves you. You need clarity for the future. You need a system that frees your mind while keeping what matters safe and accessible. The solution is deceptively simple, but powerful. Create 3 folders for your most essential documents. Medical records, current prescriptions, insurance cards, important health information. Financial, current bank statements, active bills, tax records for the required retention period, legal documents. Personal, items with emotional or practical significance, letters, personal notes, or certificates that truly matter. Everything else, shred it, recycle it, or responsibly dispose of it. Yes, it may take a few afternoons, and yes, it may feel emotional to let some papers go. But the act of decluttering your paperwork is an emotional release as much as a practical one. Imagine opening your filing cabinet or drawer and seeing only what is necessary. Imagine feeling calm as your eyes glide over neat, clearly labeled folders instead of chaotic stacks. Studies in psychology show that visual clutter, even in small forms like piles of paper, increases cortisol levels, stress hormone, in the brain. By clearing these piles, you are not just organizing. You are reducing stress, anxiety, and decision fatigue. You are creating mental breathing space. And the results are immediate. You feel lighter as soon as you remove the old stacks. Your mind quiets. Your home feels calmer. Your decisions feel easier because the visual distractions no longer cloud your thinking. This single step, sorting, keeping only what matters, and letting the rest go, can transform your mental landscape more profoundly than almost anything else on this list. Because at the heart of senior decluttering is this truth. Your home is a reflection of your mind. Clear your space of unnecessary paper, and you clear your mind of unnecessary weight. When you take control of this clutter, you reclaim a piece of yourself, clarity, peace, and the freedom to focus on the life you are living today, not the obligations of decades past. Guilt is one of the quietest but heaviest forms of clutter in a senior's home. Unlike physical clutter, which is visible and obvious, guilt clings to objects invisibly. It whispers every time you open a drawer, sift through a box, or glance at a shelf. And often, this guilt is tied to gifts, The very items that were meant to bring joy, connection, and love. Think about it. How many items do you still keep, tucked away somewhere? Not because you love them, not because they serve a purpose, but because you feel obligated to hold on to them. You may keep things because someone you loved gave it to you. Perhaps a child, a grandchild, a friend, or a relative gifted you something special. The memory of them, the thought behind the gift, makes it feel sacred. And letting it go seems like a betrayal, as if discarding it would dishonor that person. You don't want to seem ungrateful. We carry an invisible rule. If I let this go, they might think I didn't appreciate it. That thought alone keeps items sitting in drawers or boxes for years, sometimes decades. It feels wrong to let it go, even if you never use the item, even if it doesn't bring joy, even if it physically clutters your home or adds invisible stress. There's a quiet voice inside that says, I must keep this because it is tied to love. But here's a truth that many seniors don't hear often enough. Keeping a gift you don't use is not love. It is obligation. It is a form of emotional burden you place on yourself. It does not honor the giver. It does not honor your present life. The person who gave it to you had one intention: to make you happy, to show care, to bring warmth, comfort, or delight. They did not intend for their gift to weigh you down, clutter your space, or create guilt. Objects are neutral. They carry meaning only as long as we allow them to. And here is the liberating reality. You are allowed to release items that no longer serve you. You are allowed to say, thank you for this gift, but I don't need to keep it anymore. Love does not live in objects. Love lives in your heart. Memories live in your mind. Connections live in your relationships. Objects, even thoughtful gifts, do not have to live in your home forever. They are tools, symbols, not permanent residents of your life. So take a slow, reflective walk through your home. Look at the gifts you've kept. Ask yourself gently, without judgment, does this bring me joy right now? Does this serve my life today? Does keeping this honor my present self, or just my past sense of obligation? If the answer is no, then release it. Donate it to someone who will enjoy it. Pass it on with gratitude. Let it continue its purpose elsewhere. And notice what happens internally when you do this. A subtle weight lifts from your shoulders. A drawer that once felt crowded suddenly feels open. A shelf that once seemed heavy feels lighter. And in that lightness, your heart expands. Because love remains, even as objects leave. This is the quiet power of releasing gifts held out of guilt. You honor the giver, yes, but more importantly, you honor yourself. You reclaim space, clarity, and peace. And you finally allow your home to reflect the life you are truly living today, not the obligations of yesterday. Because love is never in the object. Love is in the connection. And connections remain, even when objects are freed. Decluttering after 70 is not about giving up your life. It is not about throwing away memories, tossing aside the past, or erasing your experiences. Quite the opposite. Decluttering at this stage is about fully embracing the life you are living right now, the life that belongs to you in this moment. It is about creating a home and an environment that honor your body, your mind, and your spirit. A home that reflects ease instead of struggle, dignity instead of compromise, clarity instead of chaos, and comfort instead of constant adjustment. Because your home is more than walls and furniture. It is the space where you live your present, where you rest, where you dream, where you move, where you eat, where you laugh, where you feel safe. It should feel like a sanctuary, not a storage unit. Every item you release gives something extraordinary back. Energy, the small but constant weight of unnecessary objects, drains vitality. When you let them go, your body feels lighter, freer to move and act. Breath, space creates a literal and figurative ability to breathe. Open rooms, uncluttered surfaces, clear counters. These restore calm and reduce tension. Freedom. Each object you remove frees you from obligations you didn't even realize you were carrying. You can live your days without hesitation or restriction. Lightness. Emotional, physical, mental, spiritual. Lightness is the gift of clarity and peace returning to your home and your life. This process is not just about objects. It is a ritual of liberation. It is about telling yourself, I choose life in the present. I choose clarity over clutter. I choose comfort over chaos. I choose myself. And if this video has helped you, inspired you, or given you a new perspective on the home and the life you deserve, let it be known. Comment below. I choose peace. Let these words be a small but powerful affirmation of your commitment to yourself, to your home, and to your emotional freedom. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because we will continue to create videos that nurture your health, protect your home, and cultivate your happiness. Videos that help you live with dignity, ease, and joy every day in every corner of your life. Remember, decluttering after 70 is not about losing life. It is about fully, deeply, joyfully reclaiming it. Your home, your mind, and your heart are ready to breathe again. Give yourself the gift of space and watch